Okay, and Lori, let's see. Shall I do the swearing in and then turn it over to you? Okay,
That
so
would be great. Thank you.
okay, Lori and our guests are required to swear that you will be telling the truth during this time period with us. So I want to first welcome you and then ask you to identify yourself and pledge your truth. So let's see, Mr. Carter, I don't know how to pronounce your first name. Whoops, unmute yourself. So did you?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's D9 with the number.
I could barely hear that. Am I the only one?
You are not.
D9?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry,
Did none. Okay. All right. Thank you very much and welcome. Who else is here? Matthew Hanson?
Hi, Matthew Hanson. I swear to whatever you wanted me to swear to.
Truth and justice. Mr. Parsons? Could you unmute yourself and? Okay. Got it. Sandra Stork?
Yeah.
Whoops. I'm sorry. We have to try to unmute yourself and then.
Yes, I swear.
Thank you. And Stephen Canetto? Are you here, Stephen? Okay, we'll get back to you when your time is here. And then Wendy?
Wendy is the city attorney, so we don't
Okay.
need, she's the city.
Sorry, Wendy.
Count. That's okay.
Okay. Is that it, Lori?
Yeah, get Stephen to sign in to get back.
Okay, Stephen, are you there?
There seems to be an issue with unmuting.
Yeah, that seems to be a problem.
There is a lag. Stephen was here a second ago.
Saw him.
Well, he's a.
Okay.
There he is.
All right.
Stephen, could you unmute?
Stephen?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now we can, yes. We need you to swear that you'll tell the truth during this time.
Yes, I shall tell the truth during this time.
Thank you. And Lori, it's up to you to do that little deed and then take it away.
I also swear to tell the truth, and if everyone other than the first application could mute themselves, so Danon and Matthew stay on, and the commissioner stay on. Everyone else, if you could just unmute or mute yourself, that would be great. First though, Diane, did you want to read?
Yes.
Before we hop into the meeting?
Yes. I hope that you all received the hearing summary from July 15th. And okay, and if so, I will ask for a motion for approval of the minutes for July 15th.
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Got it. Lori, was that good enough, or do you want me to do roll call?
I think that's good enough.
All right. Did anybody say no? Okay.
Can I jump in?
Wendy?
It's fine for just doing the minutes that way, but I think for any applications that you have, you should do a roll call, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the hearing minutes are complete, and on our agenda, which I'm trying to bring up real quickly. I had it a minute ago. There it is. Our next scheduled commission hearing is October 21st, 2020 at 3:30. It will be a WebEx hearing once again. And anybody who needs information about how to get that is to go to columbus.gov planning HPDRA. We've approved the hearing summaries, and Lori, will you please talk about our first application?
Be happy to. The first application is number 20-0901, and it's the Linking Together Public Art Project. The project applicant is the University District Organization, and the location is Wineland Park on 4th Street, the 4th Street side. There's a chain link fence surrounding basketball courts. And Mark, if you could pull up their materials, I think that would be good. We don't need the agenda anymore. So the location is shown in their materials. It's a temporary project. I believe it's 6 to 7 months. And I'd like to report back that Matt Hansen from the University District Association and I had a WebEx meeting with Recreation and Parks representatives yesterday. They're supportive of the project. All Matthew needs to do is finish the MOU agreement with Recreation and Parks, and they're pretty much good to go. So we have their confirmation moving forward. And with that, I'd like to turn things over to Matt Hansen and Danon Carter, who is the artist for this project.
Thank you, Lori. I'll provide a little bit of Matt Hansen with the University District Organization. I'll provide a little background on the project. We had, at the beginning of the year, with our art implementation committee, came up with the idea to do artistic projects on chain link fences. And so this would integrate materials into the chain link fence, and we would do a series of these throughout the university district. COVID hit, things were a little uneasy, but we were able to receive funding from the Columbus Foundation to move forward with this project. One of their stipulations for the funding is that they wanted to have the art project speak towards conversations regarding race and equality and what was happening with the Black Lives Matter movement. And so we were happy to oblige with that. It was important to us to bring forth art projects which demonstrate the diversity that's here in the university district. We also wanted to support that movement through public art projects. And so we put an RFP out. This was in about June, July, and received proposals. 2 proposals were selected, the one that you're seeing here, and then another one for other project location, which is at West Norwich and High Street. But the commission is reviewing this specific proposal that Danon Carter has put together for the Wineland Park location that we're working with Columbus Rexham Park on. I'm going to pass it off then to Danon to describe his concept. And a little background on Danon. He is a Wineland Park resident and has full support of the community, and they're really excited that we have selected a resident to display artwork in Wineland Park too. So Danon, I'm going to pass it off to you.
Okay. Can you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this piece is represents, like you said, equality and, well, the Black Lives Matter movement right now and past. Actually, if you guys are reading the conceptual thoughts and inspirations, has actually been changed from locks, which I was going to use in the beginning, but now I've changed it just to chicken wire, just because it will adhere better to the fence, and it will allow for more um just better adherence to the fence than the locks, and you guys will be able to see the, the fist in the heart. So yeah, it's going to be made from chicken wire instead of the locks, and the heart also chicken wire, red and black, as you can see.
Hi, Denine, what kind of paint are you using?
Paint the wires. Well, I will actually be getting the wires in the color. So it'll be red chicken wire, and then a slew of black chicken wires also.
Okay.
I read this, but how big is this thing? How tall?
Okay, so I don't have the exact dimensions, but as you can see or could see, it's the top half and the bottom half of the fence. So I'm gonna use one section of the fence and have it the whole, like the top section and the bottom section, kind of like it's kind of diagrammed on there. It'll be pretty big. You'll probably be able to see it from driving up or
Yeah, I think the fence is like 10 feet tall. I'm
Okay.
guessing.
Yeah, I'm going to use the whole space given to me.
Okay.
I see.
Do you know where on this fence, this photo that we've got of the fence, it will be?
Okay, if I could see it. Okay, so I'll try and go to the middle so it can be evenly dispersed, like just straight in the middle, so it's not odd looking to either side of the fence. So most likely in the middle.
But it'll be seen on North 4th.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. Okay. Commissioners, do you have other questions, or do you guys have a presentation for us?
Diane, I have a question.
Yeah.
Then it said in the description there'd be red ribbon used. Is that not the case any longer?
Okay. Yeah. No, it's gonna be the chicken wire. I didn't get a chance to, like, I guess update that part.
That's cool. I just was
so
just
not,
making sure.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry, I can only see one video at a time.
It's okay. I have a deep voice. It's a man.
I'm so sorry, beautiful.
No. So is it just one hand that we saw, or there will be multiple along the fence?
Okay, so as of now, it's just the one fist with the heart. If you guys don't absolutely mind, because I only put in one fist for this display right here, but I could do multiples as long as I have the material. I could put more than one on there. Yes, I could.
Yeah. Because I saw that the fence, there are sections. There are many sections. So it looks like if there are multiple fists, it will make the statement stronger. But I don't know if it is your intent of doing that.
I definitely can, and I will, just because you mentioned it. If you guys are all willing to approve that, I will do multiples. I just have the one on just for the. I thought it could be one, but it could be many. It could be multiple. Just to cover the section and the space that I'm given.
So Liza, we approve.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Denine. Liza, we approve just one fist, but if Denine wants to do multiples, we are totally fine with that too. So.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
okay.
That's all. That's all I
Yeah.
needed to hear. I'll go ahead and I'll make a note of that, and I'll do not just the one. I'll do many.
As long as the commission is okay with it.
I don't know if the area commission or within our commission, other commissioners have any thoughts about multiple or just a single, so. But I'm just curious because I saw the fence is pretty long,
Yes.
and I drive by North 4th Street almost on a daily basis, so I would love to see that.
Okay. Yes. I was just under the assumption that there were going to be other people out there with me, and I didn't want to get too presumptuous in my design. So I kind of just drew the one with, hopes of maybe being able to do more. But since if you guys, if I'm allowed, I will.
I'm a fan of multiples.
Okay, great. Great. I will.
Yeah.
Are there other questions of Denine or of Mark, Matthew?
I like it, Denine. My personal view is I think it's really dramatic and sweet at the same time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I like the idea of multiples. This is Diane. Just make sure that UDO and insurance won't change because of that. You want to make sure that everything that you've gotten approved for one will cover multiples.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ed. Yeah, our policy should not be changed because of this. So we have a pretty hefty umbrella policy to cover it.
Oh,
All right.
And Rec and Park too. Don't forget to check with Rec and Park.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Diane,
Yes.
this is Lori. Lisa McClymont is not able to vote. She has to abstain. She had submitted a proposal for this project.
Okay.
So when you do the vote, she'll be abstaining.
Well, I'm ready
we
to
talked
do a
about
vote
that.
if there is a motion to call the vote.
I'll move.
Okay, Chip. Second.
I'll second.
second.
Mary.
Okay, and Eliza. All right, I'm going to roll call. So all of
Hang
those.
on. Sorry, can I jump in? If you're going to approve something different than what they submitted, your motion should be to approve as submitted, but with multiple pieces of artwork along the fence if they choose to do that.
Yes, that is actually my motion.
Yeah, I thought I did that.
You read my mind.
Thank
you.
Guys, this is Marianne. The only question I might have, sorry, I should have brought this up a little sooner, is if there are multiple designs, and let's say then the basketball court is no longer visible from the outside because only the designs are visible, will that pose a problem? Is there an issue with that? I just want to ask that question.
It's a good question.
Okay. This is D9.
So, Marine, we actually consulted with our police liaison about the project, and we need to follow up with him, specifically review a multiple phase proposal. So at any time that Columbus Police is not comfortable with our design, we will definitely pull back on the number of fists being proposed.
This is D9. If I could say one thing.
Yes, please.
Yeah, if I were able to do multiple, I would not actually cover up. I would not obscure all of the view from the basketball court.
Okay.
You'll definitely get to see it from the street.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that we have a motion to approve the concept and as is, with the appreciation and possibility of multiple images in the final implementation. And that was motioned by Chip. And Eliza or Marine, do you second that motion?
I think it was Mary.
Mary?
But
Okay.
I can be second as well. Yeah.
All right. All right. So then I will call. Pardon? Okay. I will call then roll for this. Eliza, your vote? Marine?
Yes.
Lisa is abstained. Mary?
Aye.
Chip?
Aye.
And I am also approval. All right. Thank you very much for presenting this. It's not always easy to do in this format, but we have a really good idea of what you'll be planning for this area, and I wish you lots of luck.
Thank
It
you.
looks like a really strong project.
Thank you. It will be very, very strong, and I believe you guys will love it, and I can't wait to get started.
Good. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to have lots.
That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
That's right. So now if we could have Stephen Canetto unmute.
Yes.
And I'll introduce this project. It's application 20-002. It's called We the People. The location is undetermined. The applicant listed possibly Goodale Park or the site a mile on their application. They haven't spoken with Recreation and Parks yet. The piece is also sponsored by the group Friends of Unity, and they are looking to complete this project, fundraise for this project, and gift it to the city of Columbus. I've shared the gift policies with Mr. Canetto. And the idea of it is related to race relations on a large scale, I think, race relations in the world, the application indicated. The artist is Stephen Canetto. He'll be presenting. Also, Judith Spader-Canetto has been involved with Canetto Studios. And also, in addition to the presentation, we may have speakers Susan Wagner, Sandra Stork, and Jason Parsons, whom I believe are part of the Friends of Unity organization that's mentioned. So with that, Stephen, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Lori. I would like to invite Jason to lead in. Jason?
Yeah, thanks, Stephen, and thanks, Lori. Yeah, so the Friends of Unity would really like to present We the People to the city of Columbus. This piece was actually inspired by the Transformation of Race workshop that we did over the summer, sponsored by All True and the Next Level Community. All True's out of New York as well. This piece is a beautiful dedication to the unity that we all share. We selected Stephen Canetto to do this piece because of his unique style of artwork, the color scheme, the beauty, the magnificence that he puts behind his work. And really, it was just a good fit for the community image that we're trying to put forth through this project. Also, Sandra, Susie, and myself have known Stephen for quite a while. He's a member of the Next Level Community that did support the Transformation of Race workshop that we did that inspired this. And I'd like to turn it over to Stephen so he can tell you a little bit more about the piece and the specifics. Stephen?
Thank you, Jason. Lori, commissioners, we are honored to present We the People to you. For those of you who are familiar with my work, you'll recognize themes in it. People coming together to build community, figures connected to each other in support of each other, and the celebration of life. We the People is unique in that the people are in bright colors, reflecting the diversity of humanity. The doves in polished stainless steel, reflecting the sun, symbolize peace, freedom, and goodwill. The children riding those doves in orange and green symbolize the release of fear and prejudice. Placed on the ground in the foreground of this illustration is an actual photo of a model of a dove that is a child's toy, a dove flyer. From stem to stern, or beak to tail, he's 5 feet long, rises up with the wings at about 4 feet, and radiused on all edges so that it's safe and stable. The scale of this project, like the theme, is monumental. People can walk under and around and through, lie on the grass and look up. The tallest of these figures, the orange and green, the green is the woman who is pregnant, the figures on the shoulders rise up to about 18 feet, about 3 times human scale. The overall dimensions of the work is 30 feet high, 60 feet long, and 25 feet in depth. So you get a sense that this is a very prominent public artwork that invites people, again, to move around it. The materials that we're projecting to use are stainless steel, 304, and the thicknesses are 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch thick steel plate that will be finalized as we go through the engineering. So our engineers will help us determine what the actual thickness will be based on wind load, stability, safety in the public environment. Again, all the edges of each of these pieces will be radiused, softened so that there aren't any sharp edges. The maintenance of the work, thinking about Columbus and the outdoor environment. Again, stainless steel is a very durable material. The colors will all be applied in a multi-stage, 3-stage application of sandblasting the surface, using epoxy base. The colors will be a polyurethane, and then there will be a final application of a preservative material, one that will preserve and harden the surface. Going back to the engineering, would you please bring up the last, in case there are any questions, the last of the pages in this proposal? There you go. No, I'm sorry, back again to those illustrations. Yes, there they are. So these were prepared by Jezernak Gears, our structural engineers, and they give you a sense of the concrete pier with rebar reinforced that's placed in the ground that attaches each foot to the pier. Again, thinking about wind load and thinking about frost lines, we'll spec everything to be as safe as possible in this environment. We've thought about the potential locations. We would like, because we see this as a destination, this project, to be in a prominent park. Thoughts that we've had are Gooddale Park, because of all of the usage that it has on both a daily basis as well as festivals, and also the Scioto Mile as another destination. Again, as Lori mentioned, we've not yet spoken with Parks and Rec. That, after this meeting, will be the next destination. I think at this point, I would like to turn it over to Sandra. Before closing, though, I would like to say that we are open. We're open to discussing locations. We're open to working with Parks and Rec on the landscape design. Judith is a landscape architect, and we are also open to discussions of lighting. I want to go back to maintenance for a moment. Maintenance is an annual washing with a biodegradable detergent. And we, in our budget, propose to have a fund dedicated to the long-term maintenance, the long-term washing of this piece. So we will support Parks and Rec going forward with that. The details obviously would have to be worked out. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Sandra to discuss our funding strategy.
Thank you, Stephen, and also thank you, commissioners, for having us here today. The overall budget for this project is $200,000, and that, as Stephen mentioned, does include the ongoing maintenance of both the art piece itself and any landscaping that would be done around it. We will be working with either Altru or American Artworks Foundation as our 501c3 fiscal agent. And yeah, I'm sorry. We're also partnering with Next Level Trainings, who have organized and raised over $3.5 million over the past 5 years for different organizations around Columbus. Our approach will be to first seek out corporate donations. And at that point, we will then set up a crowdfunding site for any additional money needed. Also, in addition to that, Kineto Studios has already donated all of the design fees and services pro bono. We have researched crowdfunding platforms, and we have currently narrowed it down to 3: Indiegogo, Cause, and Give Butter. However, we are open to working with whatever the preferred platform is of our selected fiscal agent. So this concludes our presentation, and at this time, we'd like to ask if there are any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. I will ask the commissioners to start the question. Or I can start out. One of the things that I wanted to know is kind of detailed. I'll just jump right in on that. I noticed that the structural designs that you have there are from April of 2019. How do they relate to the design that you presented?
Diane, thank you for the question. We will work with our engineers. Once a model is created, a three-dimensional metal model is created, we'll work with them. They'll turn it into a digital model and analyze the structure for wind load, and we know what the Columbus frost level is. So they will scale the drawings specifically to this project. We're envisioning using similar piers to anchor each of the figures in the ground, and that we will come back to you with in our final proposal presentation. In other words, we'll update it based on the specifics of this project.
I see.
Hi, this is Mary Gray. I just wanted to ask Mark if he would go back to the image of the piece. Stephen, can you just a quick question, tell me the image of, it looks like a child on the right riding one of the doves. How far off of the ground is that?
Yes, thank you, Mary. The dove's tail, as shown in this foreground shot, is anchored to the ground. So there'll be footers in the ground for that. And then, can you see my cursor? So my cursor is on the post. This post is just a placeholder for the post that will mount the dove at the center of gravity into the ground with a concrete footer. The point where a child would enter between the head in that arc between the head and the wings is approximately 18 inches off the ground. Tip of the wing is approximately 4 feet off the ground.
4 feet off the ground. I see.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I'm curious about the is it a concrete pad all these figures are going to be mounted on, or I was thinking about accessibility to people of different capacity, so it's mostly like ADA accessibility of this piece.
That's an excellent question. And that is something that we would want to work with Parks and Rec to determine. At this point, we are envisioning them being on grass or some kind of soft scape rather than hardscape. But that's open to your concerns about ADA and access, because we certainly, like that figure in red in the center who's in a wheelchair, want to invite people with all kinds of abilities to interact with it.
I see. Yeah,
And
thank you for
perhaps,
pointing that out. I didn't realize that the red figure, is actually sitting on the wheelchair.
yes,
That's truly representing the inclusiveness, as an idea. So
that's our objective, to be as inclusive as possible.
This is Marine. Can we scroll through the images a little bit? I noticed I had a question about one of them. I'll tell you when we get there. Yes, okay. If you would go back, I think it was the green one, the green figure. Can you tell me more about this particular arm gesture? I'm a little confused by it potentially, but I'd like to hear you more. I'd like to hear more from you first.
And I'm sure you don't want to hear my red-bone coonhound in the background. I apologize for that. Babysitting. So thank you, because as I've thought about these figures, these children that we are sending into the future, symbols again of freedom, release of prejudice. This little guy riding that stainless steel bird mounted in that cluster of birds is pointing toward the future. He's pointing to their future. One of, again, freedom from prejudice, freedom from bigotry. So he's pointing the way, if you would. He, again, like the other figures, is of stainless with a polychrome surface.
Thank you for that. It also, unfortunately, carries a reminder to some imagery, perhaps going back to Nazis and saluting their leader. Unfortunately, I can't separate the gesture from that. When I saw this, I immediately thought of that.
That's a very interesting perspective. So if you think about that salute, and we transform that into an index finger, closed hand index finger, pointing upward, how would you feel about that? How would you respond viscerally to that rather than the outstretched open palm?
And it might make a significant difference. Yes.
Geez, Brian, I didn't even think of that, but that's really a good point.
It's, my heritage where, I grew up in the Netherlands, and it's.
Mm-hmm. And I have family members who were victims of the Holocaust. So I do appreciate your sensitivity to this and would certainly work to change that visual gesture, because it has come up recently, as we're all too aware. And perhaps it's also the angle, that almost 45-degree angle. So if he was pointing parallel to the bird's beak, would also create a different, I think, sense.
That's true.
I agree, Marine. I think that was a really well put question. This is Diane again. Stephen, this is a monumental piece. 30 feet is not tiny. It's larger than the Christopher Columbus that was just taken down. So, and the parks that you are talking about are, have a vast amount of space, but there's also a lot of free space that is used by people in all sorts of free flowing ways. So, what is your thought about the size and the parks that you've chosen?
Well, again, as you mentioned, Diane, especially in Goodale Park, there is a large amount of space open. We're not wedded to either of these sites. I think that's why the meeting with the Parks and Rec will be so instructive, so informative and important. There may be sites, parks, public spaces that we are not thinking of, not aware of, that would be more appropriate. I think the most important thing for us is that it have public access, that it's in a place where people can see it from a distance, and as they approach it, be able to walk within the spaces that it creates.
Stephen, Chip Sander, I would be surprised, and I may be completely wrong, it's just an intuitive leap, but I would be surprised if the Friends of Goodale Park would want such a large piece in that park. But I may be wrong, and I'm sure not speaking for them. When I think about Malcolm's corn stalks in Dublin, where it's a location that is all about that piece, period.
Right.
That may be something for something of this huge a scale. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out.
Well, let me, if you would, turn the question around and ask you, based on your knowledge of our park systems and locations, is there some place or places that come to mind?
Well, I'll just say what I thought of is it's really maybe acquiring a piece of ground where this is a thing unto itself. I don't know. It's not clear to me where, because it is so, as Diane says, it is huge.
I think that's why I like it at the Scioto Peninsula.
Well, are there other questions? I have a suggestion. I suggest we table this. I personally don't feel that we have enough information about the siting of it in order to public art. The siting of a piece of public art is incredibly important to me. And since there is no site for it, I would personally prefer that we table this discussion until the artist and Friends of Unity have more information about the site.
Diane,
and fundraising. I'd like to know a little bit more about fundraising.
Understandably. Diane, would you suggest that we then present this to Parks and Rec for their feedback?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you are a group of people bringing forth a piece of art, a large piece of art for the community. And I think the community really needs to thoughtfully accept it. And, we're all grateful, for Stephen, that you're offering this piece, but it needs more thought behind it. And I think CRPD really needs to weigh in.
And Diane, are there other entities you'd suggest Chip, you had suggested that if we were thinking about Goodale Park, we meet with them, that commission. Yes, I would certainly agree with you there. Are there other entities that we should be talking to in preparation for coming back to you?
I have no response to that right now.
If something does occur to any or all of you, we'd certainly appreciate your feedback there. We
Sure.
would like to put together enough information to make it worthwhile for you to hear a second presentation.
If anybody has any comments, please say them. Otherwise, I think I would like to take a motion. I guess I am moving to table it, and if anybody feels that that's a way to go about it, to have a second.
So moved.
I was second.
May I have a vote on tabling this decision about the conceptual design? Eliza,
Aye.
Marine,
Yes.
Lisa?
Aye. Sorry, I'm in the dark.
Oh, sorry. Mary,
Aye.
Chip?
Aye.
It is my decision. So thank you, everyone, for bringing this to us. And please do come back when you have a little bit more information for us.
Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay
Thank
well.
you.
All right, Lori? Did we lose Lori?
Am I back?
Yep.
I'm back.
Yes,
All right.
we're back.
Okie doke. I'm really sorry, but Director Stevens and my administrator, Mark Travillis, who I wrongly put on the agenda as a planning manager, they weren't able to attend. I don't think it's any big secret, but the city is really struggling with its budget right now. Most of the things that the mayor tasked the art commission to work on cost money to move forward with. So, you know, it's not that it's not a priority. It's not that, you know, they're looking at it as anything less than, you know, what the mayor expressed in his letter. It's just the reality of the situation with COVID. It's just really knocked everything off its track. So one of the things that I have been working on and that I did get some feedback back from Director Stevens about was the Christopher Columbus relocation. There is some interest in moving forward with putting together a committee, which I'm hoping will be around 11 people, may go up or down, but I'd like to keep it in that range. We have had conversations with Jamie Staley, who is with the Sister Cities organization. They've had a lot of conversations with the mayor of Genoa, ambassador from Genoa, which is where the gift originated from. The sisters of the sculptor, Eduardo Alfieri, they have been in conversation with Sister Cities and the Columbus Historical Society to bring over maquettes and other artworks completed by Alfieri. That's on hold again because of COVID, and also, you know, they're interested in Italy as to how all this works out with the Christopher Columbus statue. They're concerned about, you know, what will happen with it next. I've expressed my concern that, you know, we may want to move more slowly with the relocation because things are still pretty fraught in society, and there are not a lot of places where you can place and protect and tell the full story that needs to be told about this piece in a way that, you know, it's secure. It's a 20-foot statue. So it's going to be a challenge, but not trying to get too far ahead. I know that Eliza and Marine indicated an interest in being involved with this particular aspect and kind of the broader educational aspect that might be involved in telling the story of this piece. So I wanted to see if the two of you were interested in serving on the committee that will be pulling together for this, because I think that it's important to have that part of the conversation and the broader eye. You know, it's not just a place to put the piece, but it's also a place to tell the story about the piece. And I don't want to see that get lost in the work of the committee. And we could have anywhere from 2 to 3 commissioners involved. And I have talked off and on, excuse me, as this has moved forward. But first off, Diane, Marine, Eliza, are you interested in being a part of the committee? Is everyone okay with that? If you are,
Yeah.
I see Marine shaking your head. Eliza, also, okay, great. So you'll definitely be added. And does anyone feel really strongly about a third representative? Or, you know, the way that we're looking at it at this point, the mayor has provided feedback that from the mayor's office, Kimber Perfect will be participating. And from council, Councilmember Tyson will be participating. She's also participated quite a bit in relations, sister city relations with the folks in Genoa. So she's knowledgeable about the piece and the gift of the other artwork from the artist. Pardon me. We've also are intending to have our representation from Native American community in Columbus, at least one person. And I've left messages. I know people aren't always in their office, but that's the only way I have right now of contacting the Columbus Native American Association. So that's in the works. The Piave Club and the Columbus Italian American Society are two of the largest clubs, formal clubs here in Columbus. They were involved in discussions around the removal of the piece. So I will be writing to each of those organizations and asking them each to appoint 2 people. And I regret I don't have the name, but I want to go back and look at a Columbus Metropolitan Club luncheon that they had on symbols and memorials. And there were some folks who participated in that. Doreen Uhas Sauer was one of the people, a local historian, and you know, she's done work on some of the committees that have presented art to the commission. But you know, that one's kind of open, and I'm working on that. And if you have any ideas of who might, an additional person, then certainly email me and let me know who you're thinking about. And when I finally am able to, I've gone through the archives that they have on YouTube and with the CMC. I'm just going to email them and see if they can send me a link to that discussion, and I'll send that link to all of you also. I think it was a really good discussion that they had earlier in the year. So that's the status of the Christopher Columbus relocation. We're hoping to at least be able to announce the committee before Christopher Columbus weekend. I know that this is going to come up at that time. You know, people following up on the discussion in the press, so we'll have that and possibly even have a meeting scheduled. We'd like to have at least one meeting scheduled for this year, and still, you know, we'll still be looking for potential locations for the piece. And also, in doing that, you have to consider, as Diane mentioned on the previous application, what's a suitable location for the piece to go in terms of, you know, the urban design of it. You know, you want it to add something to the location where the piece ultimately is relocated to. Right now it's safe. It's in an enclosed warehouse building that the city has. So the piece is stable at this point. Any comments, thing you'd like to share? No. Sullivan Brights, you might remember that from our last hearing in July before your August recess. And they still are looking for someone from the commission to participate in that project. Anyone interested? Serving on their planning committee?
I don't think so.
Okay, I will, is it okay if I do it in your stead? Is that all right? Okay. So I will do that. Columbus Crystals, Mark Riegelman's piece. Every day is a new day out in the wilds of the High Street streetscape. Oh my gosh, right away. We've hit a hiccup, which is probably about a 200-year-old brick sewer that no one in sewer and drains knows exactly where it's located.
Oh, no.
But we need to find
Stuck
it.
there.
So, I mean, some of these things are so old, there's just not records for them. So if you're the developer or person trying to do something, you may end up having to figure that out for sewer and drains. And I want to say that they've been really cooperative. It's not a high priority sewer for them to reline when they have this relining process that's really actually kind of fascinating. But when it's done, it strengthens the brick sewer to the same level that a new cement sewer would have. So it's really kind of remarkable. And they're willing to jump this one. So it will happen out of schedule and earlier in order to help facilitate our project. I don't know the timing of when they'll be able to get to it yet. I think that the easy thing to say is that we're pushing more into 2021. Mark is going working with Bollinger, the fabricator, on the fabrication of the piece, because none of that's changing. We're just kind of working on the, there might be changes to the foundation. There probably will be changes to the foundation underground once we locate the sewer. So I'm working on legislation so that we can go in and ask for everything that we need to fully complete this piece, including the lighting, which was around $30,000, and it will be even a little bit more than that because we now have to go to locate the electric utility for it, but it's not, that's not the big deal. The utility that's the big deal is the sewer. So it is still moving forward. It's moving into fabrication, but it's just, one more bump. And we'll just be really happy when it's all done and when it's in. But it won't be in 2020, I don't think.
Is Mark rolling with this all right?
Yes, it's disappointing, I'm sure. We all feel it. He's in a different position and he's ready to go. I think it certainly is helpful that he can move forward with the fabrication and that phase of the project. So, and he's going to talk to Bollinger and make sure they can hold it for a while if that's what we need to have happen. But he still has to clear that with them. And my legislation, the local contractor on this, Setterlin, they've also been really good and adaptable to this project. So they're doing the additional pricing for the locating the sewer and the additional distance we have to go to get the electricity for the lighting. Basically, it's the expense is tearing up and replacing sidewalk.
Lori, while this is all happening, can you let us know about payments to Mark? Is he, we've brought him along on this project, and yet, I'm sure, I don't know his situation, but I would imagine he's relying on this funding for his own livelihood. Can you tell us where we are on the disbursement of funds?
Yeah, we are in right here. We're in the third disbursement, which is $200,000. A check went out to him last Friday, so he should have it this week.
So he can pay his vendors.
Yeah, he can pay them. I don't have, he's got like a 50% complete, so he'll come back for some additional money. But there's, I checked with my administrator, and everything's a go for the above ground portion of it, and him receiving the payments for that. The piece that again lags some, and the payment for the installation of the piece will be the last, and that might not happen until 2021 when he's ready to move. But it sailed through the right-of-way review until it met the sewer, and boom. It's just something we have to deal with.
Yeah.
And now we'll know exactly where that sewer's located. So
yes, will.
That's a good thing. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
I have a question.
Okay.
So let's say Director Stevens is able to talk with us about any of our obligations to the mayor, maybe even before our next meeting. Will we schedule a special meeting to talk with him, or are we just waiting for him to be able to meet with us at our assigned time?
It could be either. He did ask me when the October meeting was going to be, so I sent him that information. But if his schedule is such that it gives me enough time to get this posted in the city bulletin and you're all available, then hopefully we could pull and have that happen. I know you're all eager to get to some next steps with it, and they understand that. Again, it's just every day is just a new budget horror. Okay, my cat's going to tail bomb the screen right now. So yeah, I think at least it does sound like there's an intent to try and make it to the October. The October hearing. Sorry, I didn't realize that was in the picture.
Okay.
And I'll be contacting you. I mean, give
are there
some thought, if you would, those of you who've been involved with various aspects of this, some things that we might be able to do that really won't cost money, any kind of prep work that might be able to happen. I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time on it because, again, we haven't even gotten the feedback as to whether they're okay with the process that you've all laid out. I think that they will be, but I don't know that for sure. So I don't want to have anyone waste their time. But two things that I start moving forward with is the Christopher Columbus relocation, and I think dig a little deeper into the collections review. Even I'll start doing some of that myself. I think we have more information perhaps than Lisa and Mary anticipated. I anticipate, and I'm actually glad that this kind of brought it to my attention, is I'll be meeting with Recreation and Parks later in the month. They received a letter about the Camp Chase Memorial mural that's out at Westgate Park. Westgate Park was part of Camp Chase, which was kind of a medical and internment camp during the Civil War. They received a letter asking why the Confederate soldiers don't look more like criminals, people who were operating against the government. And, I think it's something valid to be looked at. Curtis Goldstein is the muralist for that particular piece. And, he'll definitely, will try and reach out to him and have him brought into the conversation. I don't know what Recreation and Parks will be recommending. We'll have to see. It's a pretty big mural. It was a really detailed mural that was completed.
Are there any pictures of it that you could send to us?
Yeah, I can dig out the application.
Okay.
I can dig out the application and put it into a box file and send it to you, and also perhaps get it on the website for people who are listening to take a look at it and see what we're talking about.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
So there's no action on that yet. I just wanted to let you know that was percolating. And I guess the good thing for me with that coming to our attention is you know, we started with no information about what the city had in terms of public art when the commission was first seated. And honestly, I did not add the pieces that were completed and gifted to the city like this one was. So this is actually a gift to the city of Columbus from the Friends of Westgate Park. So I need to add that to our collections inventory as something, which is another piece we need to be looking at. And so I'll also be going through all of the other applications that were approved by the commission of works that might have been, you know, donated to the city of Columbus back in 2008 on. So
Hey, Lori,
that'll broaden that discussion.
is there any chance that I could get on a phone call with you and the rep from that catalog company to talk through a little bit and get some more details on how it might work for us?
For the web-based?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think we could do
Okay.
that. I think collecting
That'd be great.
information is fine.
Okay, I'll email you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, if there's not anything else, we are at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark. So does anybody else have anything to bring up? Lori, anybody, Commissioner?
I don't.
Nope. Nice job, Diane.
Yes. Lori.
Lori.
Yep.
I
Thank
do have
you,
one
everybody.
thing to bring up. Hold on before everybody takes off. There's one thing I want to bring up. It is a new project that is not complete enough yet to bring to the Art Commission, but it's with GCAC and Shayla Favor from the city. I don't know if you've heard anything about it, but it's a public mural project that Shayla has requested GCAC to do. So, and it's a Black Lives Matter related one. So Maroon Art Groups and a bunch of artists of color are going
Is
to
it
be
something
in that.
that's proposed for the right of way
It's
or
not
something?
on, for what?
For something that would come to the city of Columbus, for something that would come to the Art Commission?
I think
fall
it's going
under
to
the
be
Art
put in front of the
Commission?
commission because the intention
Okay.
is to have it permanently displayed. So I'm pushing to help get all the details put together and put it in a form that I understand the commission wants to look at, and there is budget included. And I don't believe the commission is being asked for any money. I believe the city and GCAC are working on the funding for that. But we have to run it through the commission. So that's another one I have to abstain from.
Great, thanks.
Stay tuned.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Good to see everybody.
Okay.
Good to see everybody. Yep.
Safe.
All right,
And I'd
thanks.
like to thank Mark
Bye.
Rossman for
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks,
DJ.
Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. So yeah, nice to meet you all virtually, and see you next time.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Thanks. See you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Maybe we can all get together in person for the grand opening of Mark's, or the unveiling of Mark's piece in 20.
Oh,
That would be great.
So,
I'll be there.
I hope earlier
So
than
we're-
that.
I
Yes.
know. I know.
we're adjourned. Diane,
We are adjourned.
We're adjourned.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're adjourned.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.